Good morning. It's Chris and Deb coming at you again from SeaDan. We've had a busy couple of weeks here that we thought you'd get you updated on. As you know, we were on the hard and Safe Cove boat storage getting repairs over the last 5 months from the hurricanes that went through Punta Gorda. But we're very excited to be back in the water, and it actually gave us some time to do some upgrades to the boat. I put some solar panels on the roof to help with keeping the batteries charged. That's something that we may want to talk about at a different time, but keeping an input going into the batteries if you're not on shore power or the generator's not running, to be able to keep feeding those batteries, keeping them topped off is a good idea. And solar panels pay for themselves pretty quickly if you're anchoring out, especially a lot. So anyway, basically we got down here on the 16th of March, and the boat wasn't ready yet. Still had some things to do, but we got all those things completed, and we put down in the water at 10 o'clock the 21st. And there's some video attached so you guys can see that process. It went just like we planned, and we put in the water and tested everything out and make sure everything worked, and it did. We considered slipping for a little bit, but I just kind of decided everything was working,
and we left.
And we're gonna get on our way. So we basically left Burnt Store Marina, which is a great. It's not actually a marina. We left Safe Cove boat storage, which really isn't a marina. I mean, they got a little bit of slippage there, but it's more just a place to go for repairs. We left there through the system of canals and went through probably the smallest lock on the planet, one boat at a time.
That was my first lock, though.
Well, on this boat.
On this boat.
So you want to tell them about that experience?
Well, yeah, the exciting thing was we get there and there's a sailboat waiting, and we thought, we would get in line behind it, and as we pulled up to it, they said for us to go ahead because the tide was down and there was only less than 4 feet of water on the outside of the lock. So they were going to stay and wait. And when we pulled up and we're talking to the lockmaster, he recommended that we not go out. So we actually anchored right there in front of the lock with the sailboat, and we waited, 3.5 hours before the tide went up enough so that we could make our way out. So we didn't even tie ropes up or anything. It was that small of a lock. We just stood there, and I talked to the lockmaster, and we pulled through, and it was a little bit scary. We had to, make a wide right turn to get out and stay away from the shoaling on the starboard side, but we did it. And by that time, though, our plan was to go to Burnt Store Marina to fill up with diesel and water. And by the time we got out of there, it was too late. So we actually went and anchored that night in front of Fisherman's Village, where the whole fun started.
Where all the carnage happened.
Yeah.
But we didn't go into the marina. We just anchored outside the marina. But
the marina's closed, so we had to anchor outside.
I think they were open for gas.
Yeah, for fuel.
Yeah, but we couldn't get a slip. It's still a mess. There's still a ton of work they're going to have to do getting those concrete piers repoured and put back in, if that's what they do.
And we anchored in front of a sunken boat.
Yeah, there was a sunken...
sunk right in front of us. So.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're planning on going to that area at this point in time, don't even consider Fisherman's Village as a place to get a slip.
Right.
But Burnt Store is alive and well, but very crowded. So we were fortunate to be able to get in there just for gas and water. I mean, we weren't in there less than an hour. We pulled in, very calm, easy day, but just a ton of boats. We were there on the weekend.
Saturday.
A lot of maneuvering. But we got that done, and we got lunch. We did a carry-out lunch. from the restaurant there. We got really good sandwiches from, what was that place called?
Tidewaters or something like that.
Yeah, it's a really good like little sandwich shop.
Deli.
So we got to carry out, and then made our way back out to near Coastal and over to Cayo, Cayo Costa.
Is it Cayo?
It's Cayo Costa. It's basically an uninhabited island that can only be reached by boat. And there's a really nice bay there called Pelican Bay. It's all sand. There's little sandbars. It's just gorgeous. So we were there for 3 days.
It was all protected on all sides. It was nice and calm. It was beautiful.
When we got there on Saturday, it was pretty crowded. All the weekenders were there. They all go there to take advantage of the beaches because basically it's a 6 foot, and then you run into a beach. So it's really, you get the boats real close, anchor, get the kids, the dogs, and everybody out, and people just hang out on that sandbar basically all day and play and have fun. So that was Saturday. Sunday, we decided we were going to head down in the dinghy. We got the dinghy in the water, and we headed down to, we went to Cabbage Key first, right?
Uh-huh.
So Cabbage Key, we got some really cool videos that you'll see on it, and that was a nice spot.
That's where Jimmy Buffett got the inspiration for this song.
Cheeseburgers in Paradise.
Cheeseburgers in Paradise. Yeah. So it was really fun.
So we rolled in there. This you'll love the pictures of the inside of this place. There's dollar bills hanging everywhere. So we put our names and date on a dollar bill and stuck it to the wall and had a couple Corona Lights. We ate. Had really good redfish.
Yeah.
Fresh redfish, blackened over rice and beans. And what'd you have?
And they're known for their hamburgers. I had shrimp, of course, because everywhere I go, I get shrimp.
Yeah. So check the videos and the pictures out. There's basically a water tower, which really isn't a water tower. It's kind of a lookout. So we climbed all those stairs to get up there and get some aerial shots of the area. So there's some pretty good videos, some pretty good pictures of the Cabbage Key area, but highly recommended if you're in the area to go hit that. And it wasn't all that crazy crowded for a Saturday.
Yeah.
Or a Sunday.
But
actually.
Today, when we passed it, coming to where we're at, it was pretty much empty. So if you can go on a weekday, it would be much better. Which
is pretty much the rule anywhere and everywhere down here. Weekends are crazy, and then all the locals have to work during the week, so it gets a lot calmer and easier Monday through Friday. Cabbage Key, we went back to Pelican Bay, back to the boat.
No, remember we went to North Captiva Island and we found
right.
2 little bar marinas.
That's right. What were the names of those?
I don't remember.
Yeah, we did. We actually went a little further.
We got pictures and video of them.
Yeah. So we went a little further south and found a couple other spots in basically North Captiva Island, right?
Uh-huh.
So we went over to North Captiva, found a couple other places, and then dinghy back to the boat.
And it was a scary experience because we had almost no gas left in the dinghy and didn't know if we were going to make it back or not.
Yeah, we were like all of 6 or 7 feet of water, so Deb was more worried about it than I was.
Uh-huh.
But we got to a place where we were able to, well, no, actually, we went all the way back to the boat.
We went back to the boat.
And the next morning, we got up and needed to go get gas for the dinghy.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead, Ed.
And Chris plotted into his Garmin on the dinghy and he put nearest fuel. And it pointed us over to Gasparilla Island, Boca Grande. At the point. So as we're going over it, and it's very rough because we had to go through the passage where the Gulf comes in, and we're this little dinghy.
It's a big dinghy.
We get to the point of the island, and there's no marina there to get fuel. So,
and the fuel lights basically
lights
flashing,
saying, "You're done." So we pull up to a fishing boat, and we're like, "Hey, do you have any gas? We could just like 1 gallon, just enough to get us to the marina." And he was like, no, I have 200 gallons, but no way to get it out of my tank. So he's like, if you go this way, you got about a mile and a half, and then you turn left into the marina. And so the whole time we're like, and I'm telling Chris to go slow to save gas, and he's flying in the dinghy.
I wasn't flying.
You were flying. And what happened? We got into shallow water, less than 2 feet, and we stopped. So we backed out real slow, and we went slow around with our fingers crossed, and we made it to
In my
marina.
defense, Deb wanted to stay close to the shore because she didn't want to be too far out in case we ran out of gas.
And we had
So
to
to
paddle.
compromise, we ended up putting the dinghy on the sand. But that's okay. The dinghy's little. I mean, or light. We just backed it right off, and we were good. Had to go out deeper, away from shore, swung around, and made it to
Boca Grande Marina.
BGM.
And it was beautiful.
Gorgeous. Oh my God. I mean, it's a really looked like brand new. We didn't ask the new deck boards and new
Pylons.
everything looked really nice.
Beautiful.
Really nice restaurant there. Highly recommend. We had lunch. And then we dinghied around the area and took some really good shots. We found manatees, golf course. There's a golf course right there on the ocean, right on the intercoastal. Took pictures of it, but you have to stay at the inn in order to play golf. So we didn't do that. But we dinghied back and found some unbelievable houses back on some of these canals. And again, took a bunch of really cool videos of some manatees that were just hanging out. See anything else on that?
Nope. Came back across the bumpy, really rough passageway again.
Came back over to the boat.
And we took the dinghy to shore to collect shells.
Oh yeah, and then we went over to the sandbar that we're talking about, and there's shells everywhere. So we collected shells and
took some videos.
Took a bunch of video, and then we were like 50 yards, 60 yards from the boat. The boat was anchored right off that sandbar, so we could have swam out to the boat if we wanted to, but took the dinghy back and decided to go ahead and put it back on the boat because we wanted to get up first thing the next morning, which would be Tuesday morning, to leave Pelican Bay and start making our way down to Sanibel. And we're almost there. There's a really nice little anchorage area here on
Chino Island.
Chino Island, Chino Island, which is just across the bay from Sanibel. We're going to anchor here, drop the dinghy, and do what we do in the dinghy. Go find a restaurant or something, and probably be here for 2 days. And then we'll be headed down to visit some really good friends of ours in Naples for a few days. Take a real shower and hit the grocery and
do some laundry. Do some
lamb lover things. That's our update for this session. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.